Hello DemExit, this is Anja. Today we are going to be talking about what is DemExit. We're going to be answering all of the questions that you guys submitted in the Instagram poll, as well as all the questions that I basically just get in DMs and comments daily. It's really hard to keep up with the same questions being asked over and over and over again. So I thought it would just be easier to answer all of the questions about what DemExit is, as many as I can, in this video. And then also tell you a little bit about where we are going forward, because we really just did, the past few months has been kind of like mind-boggling about trying to figuring out exactly how we wanted to proceed forward. But we came to a pretty good conclusion point on that. So we'll be talking a little bit about the steps that we have going forward. But we also want to really enforce the idea that DemExit is a grassroots movement. It is a grassroots revolution. It is grassroots in and of itself. So while we do have a very clear vision of where we would like it to go, you, the people, the movement, the actual fuel to the fire, could point us in a very different direction along the way with different things, with some things, all of it, who knows. So without any more, let's get into it, and you'll also get an idea of what future YouTube videos are kind of going to be like. So, what is DemExit? The best way to get into that is, I guess, to just basically explain my beginnings to DemExit, and then what I define it as, basically. So, when I was a child, I remember adults constantly making jokes about the fact that it was the same one every time. How do you know when a politician's lying? And they would say that their lips are moving. And I remember thinking, why the fuck is this funny? I know that politicians are supposed to be like really important parts of my life, about my health, about my future. Why is it funny that all of them are lying? And as I grew up, I learned, I was disgusted, After the 2016 election, I founded a nonprofit called United Voters of America. We were very involved in the 2018 gubernatorial race in Georgia. There was a lot that went into that and is not really pertinent to DemExit. But that was kind of my beginnings to the owning of a political nonprofit and not just volunteering or working for one. I think that we accomplished a lot personally, but corrupt politics are going to be corrupt politics, right? So, what is DemExit? Just getting to the core. What is DemExit? Not my backgrounds, what is DemExit? DemExit is the proletariat revolution, the political organization that is dedicated to exposing the corruption of current systems, U.S. and international governments, institutions, large corporations, terrorist groups, real terrorist groups, capitalism, and the list goes on, as well as permanently dismantling the two-party system in America and the disgusting power of capitalism. DemExit is no longer just the Democratic Party exit, and that is not what this movement is. That's not what this page is. It is way more inclusive. It is the exit from our current democracy. Pronounce it like Brexit. It is DemExit, not DemExit. So like DMXT. DemExit. Because it's, and that's a big question that I get. Why the name DemExit? So whenever I originally started the page, in the timing, it made sense for it to be called DemExit, and just kind of continued with it. That's what I founded the organization as. It would be a bit of a hassle to change the name of it, But there are some people who think that the name isn't that congruent with the movement. So if you are really gung-ho on that, please leave a comment below on what you think the organization name should be. And I might consider it. I don't know. But basically, DemExit, because I can reframe the word however I want. It's not just Democratic Party exit, it is DemExit, it is current democracy exit, so pronounce it like Brexit, and kind of almost think of it of Brexit in a very loose way, basically. Call it Brexit if you want, but it is a much more well thought out movement than that, and in every facet. Okay, so whenever I say that DemExit is the proletariat revolution, I'm basically saying to you guys that DemExit has a light side and it has a dark side. It has the real internet side and it has the dark web side to it. And the dark web side revolution shit isn't ever going to be on Instagram or YouTube. It's gonna be everywhere else. So, yeah, why in the F would I be posting about the real revolution on such public platforms? The reason why that stuff isn't there is because we're still working on our encrypted communication service, what we want to use, stuff like that. So, of course, there is going to be, kind of a surface level haha to the revolution on the mainstream internet sites. But we'll get into that further. So, DemExit has kind of like a preliminary code at the moment, and right now we have 7 tenets to it, because DemExit is not a political party. We're not trying to be a political party. That is not the intention at all. Has never been. We are more of an ideology. We are more of a DNC than a third party. Or we are more of we're an umbrella, not a party, okay? So, we're an umbrella, not a raindrop. That's the best way to put it, I guess. Okay. So, 1, DemExit exists purely outside of the current political system. So, basically, I'm saying that we exist purely outside of the two-party system, the Democrats and the Republicans, and I think that's been pretty clear. Number 2, Democrat represents everyone who does not identify as Democrat or Republican, reiterating what I just said. 3, DemExit believes in absolute truth and transparency. And while that is a very, very noble, just, and strong cause to take on, it is also something that is it's a noble pursuit, but it's a noble pursuit that takes time. So there are things that you can call the page out on for going against this tenet, but we work every day to work towards purely representing that tenet. So 4, DemExit believes in the supremacy of the individual and that rights are granted at birth. Basically, I'm saying that DemExit, if you believe in the political spectrum, we exist purely in the bottom horizontal hemisphere of the political spectrum. We're libertarians in ideology, not the American Libertarian Party. We are libertarians in ideology, which is what I just described, the supremacy of the individual. So then, 5, DemExit, again, playing into these libertarian beliefs. We believe that the state's job is only to protect those rights, those birth-given rights, the rights of the supremacy of the individual. And it is not the state's job ever to decide what our rights are. Ever. And DemExit, finally, does not believe nor participate in partisanship. We're not going to play that stupid fucking football game that Democrats and Republicans like to play, calling out both sides, calling out only one side with the same insults that the other side is using against you. You look kind of dumb. And then 7, DemExit does not participate in identity politics. So that's a very brief rundown on DemExit. And next, I think it would probably be best to get into some of your questions just to get those out of the way. So first question, can Antifa Brick be the official spokesperson of DemExit? I highly suggest that you take this up with Antifa corporate. They're going to want to have a say in that one. Next, do you have a hope in America? What is the saying? A mustard seed of faith can move mountains. So let's just keep that mustard seed, guys. I just want to know how you are doing. You okay? You know, yeah, I'm just like you guys. I'm here in this pandemic. You know, every day is a quest for sanity. So, am I a Marxist? I'm not answering that question, and I have a reason for it. Thoughts on anarcho-feminism? Jesus. I am also not answering that question because that one's not pertinent to the video, nor was the other one. So, really quickly to explain that, I kind of don't want you guys to know exactly what my beliefs are. I kind of want you to guess them based off DemExit. And also know that DemExit isn't always fully representing my beliefs because I understand that everyone involved in DemExit has some different beliefs than me. So DemExit really isn't about me. It's about the ideology behind DemExit and not my political beliefs. And you know, maybe one day I'll have like a big reveal video that's like, I took all the political tests and here's the answers, if you want to know exactly where I am. But obviously you guys know I'm on the left and I'm libertarian leaning, so figure out where you think I am in the bottom left square. And the reason I'm not going into thoughts on anarcho-feminism is because those will be later videos. What is your end goal? Our end goal is, part of that's in the dark side of DemExit, you know, the revolution, the part that isn't really going to be discussed on mainstream social media sources. And the other biggest part, the part that's in the light of the media, would be the independent umbrella. So that would be basically, the simplest way to think about that is the DNC acts as an umbrella for all Democrats. The GOP, the RNC, acts for an umbrella for all Republicans. And in a 2016 court ruling, they made it clear that these private groups, institutions are they're private, so they're allowed to decide whatever they want. So, what is the loophole really? Is it really trying to get all of our third parties to 5%? I don't think that's the answer. I think that's pining year after year in futility because it's just going to take a really, 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 really well-funded direct movement to make that happen. So the independent umbrella would have every third party independent come together under the independent umbrella, and then we would really, really, really quickly be able to surpass 5% and completely disrupt the two-party system. And that's a very simple description of that. I mean, it would be run much differently than the DNC and the GOP, but to me, it's definitely the way forward, and that's the end goal of DemExit on the light side of things. And, once we get everything figured out on the dark end of things, then we'll tell you those end goals. Why the name DemExit? Went over that one. Glad I went over that one. How many of you are there? I brought on a few volunteers, approximately 10. And my partner, Brian, is a consistent worker. So daily, we always have 2 people. Sometimes we have more. I mean, when you're working on a volunteer basis during a pandemic, it can be kind of hard. So I wouldn't say we have a very consistent volunteer staff, but we do have a volunteer staff that is over 10 people. Do you support the movement for the People's Party? Yes, I support the movement for any third party. But as Anja, not as DemExit, I really like the People's Party. Okay. Is this just for fun, or can we make real change? I would not dedicate this much time to this if I thought it was fun. The goal is to make real change, and we will make real change. The only way to have a true revolution is through direct action. And soon, you guys will know what those direct actions are. Do you think that Trump is taking his presidency seriously? Does he take being a human seriously? Does he take being a father seriously, a husband seriously? Does he take being a businessman seriously? Does he take being an academic seriously? Does he take being an elitist seriously? Does he take being a populist seriously? Does he... Noisy dogs.
He apparently agrees.
He cut me off, though, and I think it was time for me to end that little rant there. Does DemExit support a revolution? If so, what would take place of the current system? Yes, we support a revolution. That is the dark side of DemExit. So, what do we think will replace it? Again, we have ideas about where we would think things would go, but we can't say for sure at all. So, also there's a lot of things in that general... Rex. We have a, what was I just saying?
Things in that general...
The revolution. Oh, all those things that we have direct action planned in regards to the revolution and what we think would take place in the current system isn't things that we really want to be out on public media. We're very focused on privacy and making sure that the very, very legit, deep down, dirty ass, get to it shit is very encrypted. So, not the right place, not the right time, but it will be. And so next we have, is this a left wing, right wing, or Big Tent movement? Ultimately, it's a Big Tent movement. In the light, it's a Big Tent movement. In the dark, it's a bit of a left wing movement. The revolution is very much a left-wing movement. I think that, there could be a lot of right-wing aspects to that revolution, but we'll see. And then definitely in the light, the independent umbrella is completely Big Tent, because the independent umbrella will not exclude any third party. Who exactly runs this page? I love this page so much. I love you so much. I love all of you so much. My name is Anja. If you want to follow me on Instagram, my personal page is Anja Altis. Woo! And road work ahead. Alright, so that's probably perfect way to segue into the next part of this. So road work ahead. We completely, we've gotten new equipment so we can have higher quality shit. And actually bring to you the best stuff and start producing things on a much more consistent basis. So in light of that, where we see ourselves currently moving is more to being a media source on the light end of DemExit. So that's much more YouTube videos, much more discussion on the news, much more opinions, much more educational videos, and the list is endless on that one, because there's so much history, there's so much just involved in this election, there's so much just involved in just all of it, political psychology. So we have pretty good tenets, and like our core principles of YouTube will always be to remain outside of the two-party system and expose the corruption and hypocrisy of both sides, never siding with either. Expose the media, focus on news and culture, news in the revolution, news from the resistance, shit on the news, the mainstream media. But, we're never going to focus on the revolution on the YouTube channel, because in a very serious way, because that puts the revolution at jeopardy. So just to recap, there's a light, there's a dark to DemExit. In the light, you have everything you see on regular social media. And then in the dark, you'll have the revolution, the real revolution that won't ever be shown on real social media, and will have very specific instructions on how to get there. So, just to end this, another thing that we have is, finally, we're going to be having our website fully pimped out, ready to go. It's going to have articles, blogs, and we'll have our podcast linked there. We'll have our YouTube videos linked there. We'll have our social medias linked there. We'll have our store linked there. And we have a lot of gear related to anti-Trump, anti-Biden, anti-the system, Black Lives Matter, Antifa, all the shit, So, and every time you donate, every month we're going to be choosing a different organization to all the proceeds from that month go to that organization. So we'll make sure it's really clear what organization we choose each month. And then the rest of the proceeds will go to DemExit and funding DemExit and making sure that we can spend all day, every day, researching, digging down, making these videos, getting the news out for you guys. And then additionally on the store, if you're an artist who has some really dope political designs, send them in, because, you deserve 50% of that return. We'll put it on there. We'll make sure your design's up, and that you're getting paid for your art, and people are wearing it, representing it, and if it fits the DemExit movement. So, just to finish this out, make sure that you go and check demexit.store, check out the products that we currently have, check out for the announcement when the website is fully ready to go, where you can find the podcast, videos, articles, store, Instagram, so any other social media, and then also always stay tuned to this, the Instagram. Stay tuned to our YouTube because we are going to be popping off videos the next 2 weeks, and it's not going to be stopping after that. So thank you guys so much for being a part of DemExit. If you have any other questions about DemExit after this, please leave them in the comment section below, because I may make a part 2 of this video, just going a little bit more into depth about different parts of DemExit, because you know, there's a lot of things that I really don't think that I can get into. I can't get into the direct action that DemExit wants to take in this video. So just let me know. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you want to hear about. And as always, I love you. Thank you so much for being a part of DemExit. DemExit would be nothing without you. We need you. DemExit is you. And we are the proletariat, and we are the revolution, and stay in the resistance, babies. It's worth it. Fight the good fight always.